There are Japanese motorcycles still running today on their original engines after 40 years. No rebuild, no head off, no bottom end touched, just oil changes and valve checks. Most riders assume any bike that old needs a top-end refresh by 60,000 miles, but the engines I'm about to show you have crossed 100,000, 200,000, even 400,000 miles on factory internals. And these aren't garage queens, these are the workhorses that built Japan's bulletproof reputation. The Honda CB750 SOHC 1969 to 1978 start with the bike that started it all. The original Honda CB750 with the single overhead cam engine, the K models from 1969 through 1978 has more documented high mileage survivors than almost any motorcycle ever built. We're talking owners on ADV Rider and the SOHC 4 forum showing 150,000 to 250,000 miles on untouched bottom ends. The reason is the engine itself. Honda over-engineered it. The crankshaft is a forged one-piece unit running on plain bearings fed by a wet sump oil system that was overkill for the 67 horsepower it made. The cam runs in the head with direct oil feed, and the cylinders are iron-sleeved. If you find a CB750 K model in someone's barn for $3,000 to $5,000, the engine is almost certainly fine. Check the cam chain tensioner and the points ignition, that's where these bikes actually fail, not the bottom end. The Yamaha XS650 1970 to 1984. Now this one might surprise you because it's a parallel twin, and parallel twins from that era were notorious for shaking themselves apart. The XS650 didn't get the memo. That 654cc air-cooled twin was based on a SOHC design Yamaha bought outright, then refined for over a decade. The bottom end uses a pressed-together crank with caged roller bearings, the same architecture that BMW used in airheads. Roller bearings on a crank don't really wear out under normal use. They just keep going. XS650S, with 80,000 to 120,000 miles on original engines, are common in the Texas Iron and 650 Central forums. If you're hunting one, look for 1975 to 1979 models. The electrics were sorted by then. Budget around $4,000 for a runner. The motor will outlive you. The Kawasaki KZ1 000 1977 to 1980. And this next one is the engine cops trusted with their lives for 2 decades. The Kawasaki KZ1000, specifically the police spec KZ1000P, ran in California Highway Patrol Service from 1982 to 2005. Some of those bikes accumulated 200,000 plus miles of idling, full throttle pursuits, and zero mercy on original cranks and pistons. The civilian KZ1000 from 1977 to 1980 uses the same bottom end, forged crank, plain bearings, Hyvo cam chain, and a cylinder block thick enough to stop a bullet. Honda made the CB750 famous, but Kawasaki made it indestructible. If you're shopping, the 1977 KZ1000A1 and the LTD models in the $5,000 to $7,000 range are the sweet spot. Just make sure the cam chain tensioner has been swapped to the manual aftermarket unit. The stock automatic one is the only real weak point. The Suzuki GS750 and GS1000 1977 to 1979. But here's where it gets ridiculous. Suzuki was so paranoid about competing with Honda and Kawasaki that they overbuilt the GS series engine to a level that's almost wasteful. The GS750 and GS1000 from 1977 to 1979 use a bottom end that drag racers later pushed past 200 horsepower without splitting the cases. For street use, that means an engine making 70 to 90 horsepower is operating at maybe 35% of its actual capacity. It's coasting. There are documented GS1000S with 300,000 plus miles on them in the passionate forums and on the GS resources board. Find a clean GS850 or GS1000 from this era for $4,000 to $6,000, and you essentially have a forever bike. The carbs will need cleaning every decade. The engine won't need anything. the Honda CB900F and CB1100F. Now forget everything you know about bikes from the early 80s, because Honda quietly built one of their best engines during the era everyone remembers for being unreliable. The CB900F Boldor from 1981 to 1982 and the CB1100F from 1983 use the DOHC inline 4 with the same plain bearing bottom end Honda used in the Goldwing. That's the key. When you see Goldwing-derived bottom end, you're looking at an engine designed to run 24 hours straight at highway speed pulling a sidecar full of luggage. Putting that in a 540-pound naked bike is overkill in the best possible way. The CB1100F is rare under $5,000. Made for the US and clean ones now sell for $8,000 to $12,000. The CB900F is half that. Either way, the motor is essentially unkillable if you change the oil every 3,000 miles. The Yamaha XS650 and Virago 750. If you've owned a bike for more than 5 years, this one is probably about you. Everyone overlooks the early 80S shaft drive Yamahas, the XJ750 SOHC and the XV750 Virago, because they're not glamorous. That's exactly why they survive. The XJ750 uses an air-cooled inline 4 with hydraulic valve adjusters, meaning you literally cannot misadjust the valves and damage the head. The Virago 750's V-twin is even simpler, pushrod actuated, low revving, and designed to loaf along at 4,000 revolutions per minute forever. These bikes routinely show up at $2,500 to $3,500 with 60,000 to 90,000 miles and original engines. The shaft drive means no chain maintenance for 40 years either. They're the bikes nobody wants and everybody should buy. The Honda Nighthawk 750 1991 to 2003. This doesn't just last, it's the bike Honda specifically engineered to never need a rebuild. The Nighthawk 750 from 1991 to 2003 uses hydraulic valve lash adjusters, a Hyvo cam chain with a self-adjusting tensioner that actually works, and the bulletproof CB750 lineage refined over 20 years. There are MSF schools that ran Nighthawks for instructor training across 250,000 plus miles per bike with nothing but oil changes and tire swaps. Think about that, bikes that get dumped, dropped, and abused by thousands of new riders, and the engines simply don't quit. Clean ones run $3,500 to $5,500. If long-term reliability is your only criterion, this is the answer, period. The Kawasaki Concours ZG1000, 1986 to 2006. Now this next one is the highest mileage Japanese sport tourer ever documented. The Kawasaki Concours ZG1000 ran essentially unchanged for 20 model years 1986 to 2006, using the same liquid-cooled inline 4 from the GPZ 900R Ninja. There's a documented Concours owner, Fred Harmon, who put over 600,000 miles on a single ZG1000 with no engine rebuild, liquid cooling, robust oil capacity, gear-driven primary, and shaft final drive. Every part of this bike was designed for distance. A used Concours from the late 90s cost $2,500 to $4,000. For a touring bike with that kind of proven longevity, it's the cheapest forever motorcycle on the market. The Suzuki Doctor 650 1996, present. But the engine that quietly destroys everything else on this list is one cylinder. The Suzuki DR 650, basically unchanged since 1996, uses an oil-cooled single that's mechanically simple to a fault. SCEM-coated cylinder, dry sump oil system, and a 5-valve per head design that makes more torque per pound than anything in its class. Round-the-world riders routinely cross 100,000 miles on these without touching the top end. The Adventure Rider Forum has multiple documented DR650s past 150,000 miles original. A used DR650 costs $3,500 to $5,000. A new one is $7,400. Either way, you're buying an engine that will outlast the frame around it. The Honda Shadow VT1100, 1985 to 2007, and the last one is the one almost nobody talks about. The Honda Shadow VT1100 ran from 1985 to 2007, 22 years, on essentially the same liquid-cooled V-twin, hydraulic lifters, dual-pin crank, and a shaft drive on most variants. Shadow VT1100S, with 100,000 to 150,000 miles, on original engines are everywhere. Mechanics on the Shadow Riders Forum report they almost never see these motors in for internal work. Stators fail, regulators fail, but the engine, untouched. Pick one up for $2,500 to $4,000, and you have a cruiser that will quietly outlive every Harley made the same year. Here's what ties all 10 together. None of these engines are exotic. No titanium rods, no race-spec metallurgy, no exotic coatings. They survive 40 years because Japanese engineers in the 70S, 80S, and 90S designed them to make 60 to 70% of their actual capability. And that conservative tune is the secret to 4-decade survival. So if you're shopping for a bike that will still be running when your grandkids inherit it, ignore the horsepower numbers and look at the bottom end. The engines that last forever are the ones that were never trying to break records in the first place.